Okay, Juan. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. If you remember last class, we start how can we describe the data graphically if we have numerical data. And we took the first graph we can draw to describe numerical data. In general, if we need to describe a numerical data, we need to look for 3 points. Who can tell us these 3 points? What do you think, Shabab? No one can tell?
The contingent table.
To get the information, if we need to describe a numerical data, we look for what?
دكتور انت قصدك جرافس مثلا.
If we need to describe numerical data, انسى categorical data, numerical data, we look for something, special something for a categorical data, numerical data. What?
Stem and leaf.
We can use stem and leaf to get information. Can you give me the information that we need if we draw stem and leaf?
Class.
Center shape variation. Center shape variation. Where is the center? What about the shape and the variation? Center shape variation. We look for the center, when the data, shape for the data, and the variation. Do we have a variation? The distribution for the data around the center, large or small? Is the data very close to the center or far away from the center? Do you remember this, يا شباب? يا شباب.
Yes, we remember, Doctor.
Inshallah. We took the first graph for the numerical data, stem and leaf plot. We can draw the stem and leaf plot, but split each value to 2 parts. Take a part as a stem. By default, the second will be the leaves. Don't forget that there is no method tell you should take this as a stem. We try, by trial and error, we found that. And we took 3 questions. Today, inshallah, we'll continue by taking the other graphs. All the graphs for numerical data based on a table. The name for that table, frequency distribution. Frequency distribution. The frequency distribution is a list or table, and it's a way to summarize a large number of sets. It's useful to classify the data into classes or categories and determine the number of individuals for each class, how many value we have in each class. To build this table, we should know something about this frequency distribution, frequency table. Frequency distribution, it's a way to summarize the data. In general, it's give us a quick visual interpretation of the data about the center, the shape, and the variation. We take care about something called the class width, with the difference between the upper endpoint and the lower endpoint for each class. The frequency, how many value we have in each class. The relative frequency, it's the ratio between number of observation in the class to the total. At the same time, we have the midpoint, the center for any class, the center for any class. How can we build this table? Don't forget that it's a table in 2 columns, 2 columns. To see how can we build a table, frequency distribution for numerical data to get information about the center, the shape, the variation, we will take it in the following example. Can you read the question, Shabab? Who can read the question? And be careful. If you miss anything, you please ask me direct. Who can read this question? يلا يا عبد الرحمن.
A manufacturer of insulations randomly selects 20 winter days and records the daily high temperature.
Then we have the temperature for 20 days. Then we speak about temperature, and you know fact, temperature, it's numerical data, صح?
Yes.
Now, our aim to build a frequency distribution to describe the daily temperature. We follow steps, 6 or 7 steps. Step number 1, find or write the data sorted from the minimum to the maximum. Is it data sorted يا شباب?
No.
No.
Now let's be careful now. When you have all the solution for this question, but we'll do it together, okay? So be careful. How many data we have? How many observations we have?
20 observations.
20. Sort the data. If you sort the data, you will get the following. We sort the data. The minimum equal to?
Well,
With maximum?
58.
Now, step number 1. Find the range. الرينج يكون واطي شباب.
large maximum minus minimum.
Maximum minus minimum then equal to 58 minus 12. كم؟
46.
The second step, after finding the range, our aim to divide this range to sub-intervals from 12 to 58 and then 46. We need to divide it to intervals. How many intervals we need?
It depends on the data.
Now, in general, there is guideline we can use to check number of the intervals that we need. One of these guideline, number of the interval approximately equal to root of n, where n the how many value we have. How many value we have?
20.
Find the root.
The root of 20.
You have a calculator ولا لا؟ يلا.
Here, doctor.
كم؟
4.47.
4.47. Number of the interval should be integer. We should round the value, whatever the value, up. The number of intervals equal to what?
5.
5. Then we need for this. We need to divide the 46, the length 46, to 5 equally likely intervals. The width for the interval 3. The width, a class width equal what? The length for each interval equal what? Equal to the range divided by number of the intervals. Range equal what?
46.
Divided by number of the
5.
intervals. 5 equal what?
Around 10.
Give me the value, 9 point something. صح؟
يا ابشر دكتور دقيقة.
مش هذا كالكوليتر مالك؟
وعشان قفلت الصف.
كم؟
46 over 5.
5 which equal to what?
9.2.
9.2. Once we round number of intervals up, we should round this value up. The answer what?
10.
10. Then we need to divide the 46 to 5 equally likely classes such that the class width equal to 10. The next step, it's the most important step. We need the intervals now. Intervals. For each interval, we have lower end point and upper end point to find the frequency for each interval. The most important step, the first step, the first interval. We need to put two numbers from where to where. The lower end point for the first interval, we can take it the minimum. We can take it the minimum. What is the minimum?
12.
12. Then we can start from a 12 to something. Okay? But since ال1 unit in the minimum equal what يا شباب؟
One year.
ال1 unit in the minimum equal what?
2.
2. We prefer to work with numbers such that the 1 unit imma 0 or 5. So we can go below 12 up to 10. So I need to start from a 10, not a 12.
Okay.
Now we set up the lower end point for the first class. We need the upper end point for the first class. Add the class width to 10 equal what?
20.
20.
20. Then we set up the first class. Oh, oops. What is? And 20. What about the second class? This is the first. Now we need the second.
20 to 30.
21.
Now, you wait,
21.
wait. Saraj. Take the upper end points for the first class as a lower end for the second class, and 20. So, at 10,
30.
30. We set up the second interval. What about the third interval? Take
32.
Take the upper for the second as a lower for the third, and add 10 up to what? يلا يا شباب.
40.
40. Take the upper end point for the third as a lower for the fourth. 40. Up to what?
50.
50. How many class we have up to now?
4.
4. We look for what?
5.
5, but maybe 4 enough. Maybe 4 enough. Now check. Is the maximum اللي 48 in this class?
Yes.
Maximum is 58.
Is it 58 in this class?
No.
No.
No. Then add the fifth interval from 50 to 60. Now check. Is the maximum in this class?
Yeah.
Yes.
If we have value more than 60, what can we do?
Add another interval.
Add another interval. We look for 5, but we need 6 to cover it. Now, up to now, 5 enough. Now we have a fact about this interval. These intervals should be with no overlapping. At the same time, cover all values. يعني the minimum in the first will maximum in the last. Is the minimum in the first?
Yes.
Is the maximum in the last?
Yeah.
Yes.
But don't forget that any upper is a lower. صح?
Yes.
And any lower is an upper.
Yeah, we get it. I get it.
Now, to make sure that there is no overlap, one side of these should be open and the other should be closed. To set up which side is open or which side is closed, look to this. Is the minimum, the lower end point for the first class equal the minimum?
No.
If yes, it should be closed. If
No,
it's 10 equal the minimum, the left side should be closed. Now, is it 10 the minimum?
No.
No.
Then take it, it's up to you. Take it closed or open. Pick one.
Okay.
Pick one.
Yes, this one is open and
I need to
20.
take it closed. Let me take it closed. Okay?
Okay.
If the left side closed, the right side should be what?
Open.
Open.
Open. Continue. This one will be closed. This one will be what?
Open.
open. The next one,
Closed and open.
close, open. The next one, close,
Closed, then open.
open. We last one,
Close.
Closed.
close,
No.
ish,
Close and open again.
open. Should be open.
Open.
Yes. If you start with left side close, will be completely closed. If you start by default, the right side will be completely open. Now we have a problem here. Is this number the maximum?
No.
No.
If yes, what can we do?
We make it closed.
oh,
Close.
No, you cannot make it close, Abdurrahman.
no. We,
Stop.
Add another class.
Add another class.
Really?
If this equal the maximum, if this equal the maximum, it's open. To cover it, we should add another class. Don't make it close. Clear up to now?
طيب دكتور
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
I got it. Yes.
why not we reverse
It's up to you. It's up to you, but I need this for a reason. I show you now. Okay? Now count how many value in the first class.
3.
3. These are 3. Then just type 3. How many value in this class? Count. Yalla. 21 in the second.
6.
You just count. Give me 21,
Yes.
22, 24, 24, 26, 27, 27. What
Yes.
about the 30?
No.
Okay. How many?
Because the 30 is closed, so we can't
Yes.
add it to this.
The 30, it's open, which should be in the next one. How many value we have?
6.
6 values. What about the next one? Then up to from this point to this point in the second interval. What about the next interval? 30 in the third.
Yes.
Yes.
What about 32?
Yes.
35,
Yes.
37,
Yes.
38.
Yes.
How many? Double 41?
No.
No. Then how many?
5.
5.
5 values. 5 values in the third. What about the next?
4 values.
Then 41, 43, 44, 46.
6.
How many value?
4.
4 values. What about the last interval?
2 values.
2 values. Now we should check the total. Is it total equal to 20?
Yes.
If no, we have problem. We should recheck how many value we have. Here.
Clear. Yes. Makes sense.
Now
Yes.
the name for these 2 columns at the same time. اسمهم frequency distribution, frequency table. We can use this table to get information about the center, the shape, the variation. Center, shape, the variation. Where is the center, يا شباب?
The center is on 20, 30, 34.
يعني في left side. يعني في left side. No, wait.
Yeah.
ليش درتها 30 40? Okay.
قصدي الانترنال.
Out of 20 we have 9 in the first 2 classes, صح؟
Yes.
إذا majority is which side?
Cluster to the left, skew
إذا
to
skewed
the
where?
right.
To the right.
Skewed to the
Majority where? The maximum number of frequency where? In which class?
In the second class.
This class contain the center. إذا the center cluster في left side skewed to the right. Clear?
Clear.
Not clear up to now, but we need to get more information. Do we have a class empty?
no.
No. So there is no
Variation.
convergence.
Variation.
Variation. Sorry.
Large or small?
Can't hear you.
Variation, large or small?
Small.
Small. Now, what's the name for this table?
Frequency table.
Now, we can use this table to get more information by adding the following. The frequency, we can add a column called relative frequency. Relative frequency. The sum, the percentage. What is the percentage of the temperatures between 10 and 20?
3/20 multiplied by 100.
3 divided by 20, 15%. What about the percentage of the temperature between 20, 30?
30%.
What about between 30, 40?
25.
Between 40, 50?
20.
Between 50, 60?
10%.
Then we can find the percentage. At the same time, we can find the cumulative percentage, cumulative relative frequency. What is the cumulative frequency for the first class?
50.
15. Equal to this.
15%.
For the second class,
45.
اللي هي 15
Plus
plus this one. Let's answer. Equal to this plus this one. For the next one,
45 plus 25.
45. The next one,
90%.
اللي هي this one plus 0.2. But for the last one,
100%.
100% equal to this plus this one. Don't forget that the sum for these should be equal 1. This number should be equal this number. It should be. Okay?
Okay.
Now the last important part. We need to find the center for each class. The center for each class. With the name for that, the mid points. What is the center for the first class? What is the center between 10 and 20? What is the center?
15.
15. How can you calculate it?
And upper plus lower and then
Divide
divide
by
by 2. 2.
إذن هذا equal to 20 plus 10 divide by
2.
For the next one,
25.
25.
how can we get it?
20 plus 30.
20 plus 30 over
2.
we have another way to find it. With the center for the second class equal to the center for the first class plus the class width. كم class width?
It was 10.
10.
10. So 25. هذا equal to what? This
55.
plus 10, 35. Equal this plus 10, 45. Equal this plus 10, 55. Clear?
Yeah.
Clear.
Here.
Now, this column, very important. We speak about temperatures. صح ولا لا?
Yes.
In how many days? How many days?
20
Yeah.
days.
20.
20 days. 20 days. Now, if I ask one of you who can give me the temperature for the first day by using this table, who can give me the temperature in the first day out of these 20 days? What is the temperature?
Again, doctor.
If I give you this table, شايف التable هذا؟ بس هذا التable. Can you give? It's clear. We speak about temperature in 20 different days. Based on this table, can you give me the temperature in the first day?
No.
No. So
No.
can you give me the temperature in the second day?
No.
Can you give me the temperature in the last day?
No.
No. Why? Because we have group data. And we don't have in this table the raw data. These. Do we have these? لا.
No.
أنا كنت شلت كذا صح؟ أيوه
Yes.
كذا. No. Now these values very important. Give us information about the approximate temperature in each day. How many days we have in the first class?
3 days.
3 days. Based on this, we can say the following. The temperature in the first day approximately equal to 15. Clear?
Clear.
The temperature in the first day, 3 days. The temperature in the first day, 15. What about the second day?
Also
what?
15. Also
Also
15.
15. What about the third day?
Also 15.
Also 15.
What about the fourth day?
Around 25.
It's a 25 approximately.
Yes.
What about the fifth day?
25 again.
What about the last day?
55.
55.
Then we can approximate the temperature in these 20 days. صح?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you give me these? Let me insert. The first day what? Yalla.
The first day is around 15.
15 second.
15.
15.
Third.
15.
Next.
25.
25,
Next.
25.
25,
Next.
25.
How many
25.
times?
6 times.
6 times falling.
Oops. All this. We have 1, 2, 3, 25, 25, 25, 25. What about the next day?
For the next 5 days, around 35.
35, 35, 35, 35, 35. What about the next 4 days?
45.
What about the last 2 days?
55.
Now we have these values and we have these values. These the actual. The actual temperature, صح؟
في 25 زايد يا دكتور.
بنشيلها. 25 زايدة بنشيلها. Delete. شلناها. Okay. Now, what about these? The actual data, the real temperature in all 20 days. What about these?
The approximation.
The approximate temperatures in these 20 days. Clear up to now?
Yes.
Now, this table frequency distribution who we have. Okay. And we get the meaning for each one of these, and we get all of these. Don't forget that the intervals should be mutually exclusive. There is no overlapping. At the same time, collectively exhaustive. Cover all the temperatures. The minimum should be in the first, while maximum should be in the last. Our aim to get information is about the shape. صح? The center and the variation. By looking to this table, can you cover the frequencies by one of the curves that we draw last class? Can we do that, Shabab?
Yes.
Yes. You will use which graph? Let me draw these again for you.
From last day.
The box.
Insert shape. Can you use this one?
No.
We'll leave the second one. Insert. This one or the last one. Insert. Which one of these you can use to cover these, the frequencies? Which one? The first, the second, or the third?
Second.
The second. Now it's clear. Since we can use the second, the data clustered on which side?
To the left.
Left.
To the left. It's then skewed where?
To the right.
To the right.
Okay. With how many peak, how many maximum point we have?
Only one maximum point.
Only one. Then one mod, one peak, one mod, unimod. Now, the variation. Do we have class empty
No.
at the middle? No. Then variation small or large?
Small.
Small. Now we can use this table. If one of these not clear, one of these not clear, we can build a graph. The name for this graph, histogram. What's the name for the graph, Shabab?
Testogram.
Histogram.
Histogram, sorry.
Histogram. To draw the histogram, it's a graph based on the frequency table. The classes with the frequencies. We build it on the XY axis. We put the end points on the X axis and the frequencies in the Y axis to draw it by hand. Who can give me the end points for the intervals? What is the end points for the interval, Shabab?
Minimum endpoint or the maximum endpoint?
What do you think? Every lower it's an upper, and every upper it's a lower. I think
10,
the same. 10,
20,
20,
30,
30,
40, 50, 60.
40, and 50 and 60. Yani draw
All the
the
endpoints.
x-axis and draw the y-axis. Are you with me يا شباب؟
Yes.
والله
Yes.
شكلكم نايمين. Yes, doctor. Now, again, what is the end point? What is the end point?
10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
10,
Now,
20, 30, 40.
Can we put a 10 at the intersection between the x-axis and y-axis?
No.
No. 10, then 20, then 30, then 40, then 50, the last one 60. We draw the x-axis. We put the value of the x-axis. We need the y-axis. In y-axis, what is the minimum frequency?
3.
The minimum frequency.
Minimum 2. Sorry.
With maximum
6.
6. Then we can take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just a minute. We can take it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now between 10, 20, we need to draw bar. The height for the bar equal what?
3.
Midpoint 3.
The height for the bar equal what? 3.
Yes. Frequency.
Now between 20, 30, we need to draw a bar. What's the height for the bar?
4. 6, 6, 6. Sorry, 6, 6.
6. What about between 30, 40? What's the height for the bar?
5.
5. Between 40, 50, what's the height for the bar?
4.
4. And between 50, 60, what's the height for the bar?
2.
We speak about lower end point, upper end point. The bars should be connected. The bar should be connected. Now, what's easier for you? To use this graph to get information about the shape, will the table as a table?
Graph.
The graph, easier, صح? It's clear.
Yes. But I have a question.
Wait, let me continue, but you can ask whatever you like, okay?
Okay.
Now, it's clear and we can draw this shape.
إيه هو ذلك كنت بسأل عنه.
It's skewed where?
To the right.
To the right.
All right. Data clustered where?
To the left.
To the left.
Mainly in which class?
20, 30.
The second class.
Second class.
Now, your question. What is your question?
لا هو عن الشيب بس.
هو طيب ماشي. Okay? Now, we put in the x-axis what, شباب? On the x-axis we put what?
The intervals.
The upper end point.
Yes.
Or the upper end or the lower end point. 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, صح? In the
Yes.
y-axis we put what?
Frequency.
The frequencies.
The frequencies. If we insert this and be careful شباب هنا we put frequencies. The minimum frequency what? The minimum frequency what?
2.
2.
The minimum frequency 2. والماximum frequency يعني this point
6.
6.
2. And the maximum frequency what?
6.
ممتاز 6. Between them we have what? 3, 4, 5. Clear? Clear?
Yes, clear.
But sometimes don't forget that we have frequency and relative frequency. If we switch this from frequency to relative frequency, يعني divide each value by what? By what?
Percentages.
By the total to get the percentages. We get another graph. The name for this graph now, not a frequency, not histogram. اسمها relative histogram. Frequency will give you a histogram. Switch the frequencies to relative frequencies, you get relative histogram. How many graphs we took up to now? Both the same, Shabab. Both the same. The aim of these two graphs, the same graph. Allahumma, what we use in the x and the y-axis. If we use the frequencies, it's a histogram. If we use relative frequencies, it's a relative histogram. Now, in the y-axis, let's go back to the y-axis. In the y-axis, we use what?
Frequencies.
The frequencies. But we can use the midpoints. ولا؟ Between
Yes.
10 to 20, we have what?
15.
15. It's a midpoint. Between 20 to 30, we have what?
25.
25. It's a midpoint. Between 20, 30, 40, we have what?
35.
35. Between 40, 50, we have what?
45.
Between 50, 60, we have what?
55.
55.
Yes.
Now, if you use the 15 with the 25, with the 35, with the 45, with the 55, instead of the lower end point, our upper end point, we use these now. For the first class, what is the frequency with this midpoint?
2.
2.
It's a 2. 2 or 3?
3.
لا 3.
Just put circle at the center هنا. With the 15. Three.
Yes.
What about the next?
6.
6.
Max. Well,
The maximum at the center exact, we have a 6. What about the next?
5.
5.
4.
What about the next?
4.
4. 10.
2.
2.
So if you match between these points by sharp lines like this. Let me change the color. You will get a graph. The name for this graph, frequency polygon. What's the name, Shabab?
Frequency polygon.
Frequency polygon. Not just the midpoint with the frequencies. Frequency polygon. And we should close it from a left side and the right side by adding one midpoint to the left and one midpoint to the right. The name for this graph now, frequency polygon, the midpoint with the frequencies. If you connect the points with smooth curve, you will get a frequency curve. Up to now, how many graphs we have?
We have the frequency graph, relative frequency graph, and the frequency polygon graph.
And
histograms.
histogram. The end point with the frequency. This is histogram.
Hmm.
Switch the frequency to relative, you will get relative histogram. Leave the frequencies as is. Frequencies. And work with the midpoint, you will get frequency polygon. With sharp. With a smooth frequency curve. If we switch this from frequency to relative now, you will get what? يلا يا شباب.
relative histogram.
ايوه. بلشنا نخربط.
relative polygon.
Relative polygon. طب with a smooth curve. Relative curve.
curve, yes.
How many graph we took up to now?
الحين 4
عد صح.
مع الهيستوجرام اقصد.
Histogram the first. You get the histogram end point with the frequencies.
Yes.
Relative histogram. Relative histogram. End point with the relative frequencies.
صح.
Midpoint with the frequency polygon. With frequency polygon. If the lines sharp, frequency with the midpoint smooth, we will get the frequency curve.
Yes.
If we switch the frequency to relative frequency, you'll get relative frequency curve or relative frequency histogram. 6 different graphs we took.
6.
ضل واحدة. The most important.
طيب دكتور, what about the cumulative?
ما بقول لك ضل واحدة. The most important. ضلت واحدة. The most important. The most important one is the following graph. And be careful يا شباب. Insert. If we put in the x-axis, if you have a question, يا شباب, ask me direct, especially in this graph. If we put on the x-axis the upper end points, who can give me the upper end point?
20.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it begins with 20 because it's 10 to 20.
Are you sure? Not from 20. Don't forget, no, the 20 it's upper at the same time lower.
Oh, the upper midpoints.
Upper end points. Upper end points. Who can give me the upper end points for the intervals? يلا شباب, we have 7 minutes. Who can read the upper end points? What is the upper end points? For the first class, what is the upper end point?
25.
يا أخوي, end point, not mid point.
19
20
ولا 20
شباب
10.
يا اخوان ال 10 lower, ال 10 lower end point, ال 10 lower end point. شو الأبر؟
20.
20. For which class?
First class.
طيب ال 20 هي upper for the first class, but at the same time it's a lower for the second class.
Yes.
Every upper is a lower. Now to write the upper end points on this horizontal line, we read it as L. حرف L. شايفينه؟ From a 10, then يا شباب
20, then 30,
then
40, 50,
then
60.
60. These are upper. From 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
Okay.
Now, put it on the x-axis. Put it on the x-axis. We have 10, then
20,
10,
30
10,
40
10.
50
We lost 60. Now on the y-axis, put the cumulative relative frequency. It's a percentage. What is the maximum percentage?
maximum percentage is 100%.
100.
It's 100.
Yes.
It's 100. Yani this point, 100%. The center between 0% and 100% what?
50
Where is that?
in the center.
Somewhere here.
Yes.
And somewhere here.
Now between 50 with 0, what?
25.
25
Where is that?
center.
Center.
Somewhere here.
Yes.
And between 50 with 100, we have what?
75.
Where is that?
The
75 between them.
At the center.
Yes.
75%. Now, we almost finish. We almost draw the graph. Now, what is the cumulative relative frequency for the class upper end point equal to 10?
15%.
ركز شو قلت لك. بدي الكوميوليتيف relative frequency for the class with upper end point.
لا
Zero.
0 sorry 0.
Exact. It's a 0. يعني we need to draw circle on the x-axis. Zero. What about the cumulative relative frequency for the class with upper end point equal to 20?
الحين 50.
15
ممتاز. 15 not 50. 15. Where's the 15?
below the
A
25
little bit below the 25.
Below the 25. Somewhere
معلش
here.
دكتور في الأولى
نعم.
ليش حطينا زيرو؟ بس هذا سؤال.
لأنه ما في
شو
ولا
ما في interval الابر ما في community frequency for the class before this class الابر equal to 10. في رقم هنا يعني we need to add something here. Insert down. هذا زيرو وهذا زيرو وهذا زيرو وهذا 5.
0.
5
اوكي
between
0 and 10
10 to 0 and 10 between 0 and 10 صح؟
صحيح.
Now we draw the second. What about the cumulative relative frequency for the class with upper end point 30?
45
45 below 50. The next one with the 40.
70%.
70% below 75. The next one
90%.
90 with the 50 below 100 a little bit. Will last one
100
100.
100%. Now match the points with sharp lines. You will get a graph. The name for this graph, OGIVE, or simply cumulative relative frequency curve. OGIVE, or cumulative relative frequency curve. The name for this graph, the OGIVE, or the cumulative relative frequency curve. This is the histogram. This is the polygon. And this one, the OGIVE. I need you to solve this question in detail. It's the first homework assessment. Solve it. If you have any question, ask me next class. Page 11, you have this question. Do it at home. Clear يا إخوان?
على اكسل
Now-
يا دكتور ولا
By hand, nothing by Excel. Don't use Excel. You solve by hand, step by step. Okay?
Okay.
When is the due date, Doctor?
Just show me your solution by next class.
ان شاء الله.
طبعا you have now homework for chapter 1 active. You have up to next week Sunday. You have 15 different questions. Each one of you will get his own questions. Just look into the blackboard and try to solve the homework questions.
دكتور
نعم.
ترى لما ندخل يجي ايرور ما يفتح.
لا لا جديد yes
سوى
today morning. Okay?
اوكي
We did something for you, so now you can do it. Okay?
اوكي
يعطيكم العافية. See you next class. I took that minutes. توفيق إن شاء الله يا شباب.
وياك ان شاء الله.